Good evening. Welcome to the November 5th, 2018 Jurupa Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Present.
Thank you. Mrs. Mendez, would you please lead us in the flag salute tonight? Luce? Thank you, Mrs. Mendez. Mr. Mendez, will you please lead us in the inspirational comment this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. Some of us had the opportunity to attend the fall joint meeting with Riverside County and San Bernardino County Schools annual meeting. And the keynote speaker there was Dan Rather, whose career spanned more than 6 decades and is known as the world's best journalist, as one of the world's best journalists, particularly as being as an anchor to the CBS News for 24 years and the program he hosted, 60 Minutes. In addressing divisiveness that is currently sweeping across our country, he states, "Too many decent and law-abiding men and women are being told that this nation is not for them, that their values make us weaker, and that their voice is better left unspoken. We elect officials pounding their chests, saying their vision of America represents the only real patriotism." So he goes on to make a distinction between patriotism and nationalism by saying, "It is important not to confuse patriotism with nationalism. Nationalism is a monologue in which you place your country in a position of moral and cultural supremacy over others. Patriotism, on the other hand, while deeply personal, is a dialogue with your fellow citizens and a larger world, about not only what you love about your country, but also how it can be improved. Unchecked patriotism or nationalism leads to conflict and war. Patriotism is rooted in humility. Nationalism is rooted in arrogance. Active, constructive patriotism takes work, it takes knowledge, engagement with those who are different from you, and fairness in law and opportunity. It takes coming together for good causes that involve reasoning, exchange of ideas and perspectives to reach common understanding."
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Okay, on to reports from closed session. Mrs. Elzig.
Yes, thank you. The board voted with a 4-0 vote to appoint Tammy Patterson as the new elementary principal at Granite Hill Elementary. Tammy, if you'd stand. The board also voted with a 4-0 vote to appoint Josefina Gamez as the next elementary principal at Sunny Slope Elementary.
Mr. Dabrowski.
In closed session, the board also voted by a 4-0 vote to approve a settlement agreement regarding a resolution agreement dated October 25th, 2018, resolving all issues in the dispute.
Thank you. Congratulations, Josefina and Tammy. The board has every bit of confidence in you. We look forward to you doing great things. Thank you. Okay, number 1, welcome 1A, introduce candidates for November 6, 2018 governing board election. Mr. Duchamp.
Thank you, President Garcia. In case you didn't notice, tomorrow's election day. I get texts every 3 minutes saying, "Did you vote?" Yes, I did, and I want to tell them, yes, I don't need another one. But I hope you all get out and vote. It is, as you know, the foundation of our democracy. Tonight, I am pleased to introduce candidates for the governing board. Trustee Area 1, Mr. Robert Garcia, incumbent. Ms. Tara Fogliasso. She's here.
Thank you.
Trustee Area 5, Mrs. Dawn Brewer. And Mrs. Melissa Grego. Please all vote.
Thank you. Item 1B, 2018-2019 student board members. Mr. DeShawn.
Well, thank you, young ladies, for being here. You lighten all of our lives. So let's start tonight with Rubidoux, Jasmine, if we might, since it seems like I always go the other way. So we'll start with Rubidoux.
Hello, good afternoon, District Board. Rubidoux High School has been pretty occupied. Some of the events that we have going on are Friday, November 9th. There's going to be a blood drive. We hope for many people to sign up and donate. Our ASB government class has planned and organized lunchtime activities to take place each day of the month. Events such as apple bobbing, measure the pumpkin, turkey relays, and events that are rewarded for participation. We hope to make Rubidoux High School the loving home of the Falcons a festive month. ASVAB is going to be taken November 16th. ASVAB is a test that determines qualification in the U.S. Armed Forces. This summer, our Veterans Memorial Wall, dedicated by the class of 2018, was finished. Outside, around our office, there was a wall that was built with all the U.S. Armed Forces that were listed. Update on old news. Our RHS football team made it to round 1 CIF. Unfortunately, we lost last Friday. There's always next year. Our girls tennis team made it to round 2 CIF, which has not been done in over 15 years. The season hasn't ended for our boys cross country. They won league and are still continuing to practice. Our girls varsity volleyball team made it to round 1 CIF. Unfortunately, we lost as well. This is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine, and congratulations to all the teams. And if any of you have not had the opportunity to see the wall at Rubidoux, it is awesome. It is a great recognition of those who have served in the armed forces. Thank you. Jedi, would you please tell us about Patriot High School?
In the month of November, our fall sports have come to an end. All of our sports teams made it to playoffs. Our cross-country team, which is our league champs, are still currently playing in playoffs. We are looking forward to our winter sports season, which begins in 2 weeks. Also this month, band begins their competition season, and we wish them luck. Tomorrow, our league crew will be hosting Synergy during school for students to promote mental health and discuss any problems they may be having with peers and students and faculty. We will soon be having a peak graduation, which is a parent support group that informs them on what's going on at the school and with their students. On November 13th, our ASVAB test will take place in the gym for students who are interested in futures with the military. Last week, our administration discovered a threat to the school written in the form of vandalism. The threat was made for today, November 5th, and Patriot has taken the necessary precautions to ensure the safety for the students and faculty and adding more security and protection on campus. We hope that our school will continue to run smoothly and safely.
Thank you, Jedi. And Camille, would you please talk to us about Rubidoux Valley High School?
Good evening. The end of October has been a very busy time for us Jacks. On October 24th, the College and Career Fair took place, where seniors had the opportunity to work on their college applications, or other seniors had the opportunity to finish completing their FAFSA applications. All other seniors that had finished their FAFSA applications prior to the event were able to enjoy free time with Farmer Boys Lunch. Overall, it was a very enjoyable and productive event for seniors preparing their college applications. 239 seniors were recorded to have completed their FAFSA applications that day. All credit goes to our wonderful Career Center coordinators, Ms. Vicki Kaler and Jody White. We would like to congratulate the first ever Lady Jacks tennis program to win the CIF Championship League. Huge congratulations to our four of our tennis Jacks, seniors Brittany Bello, Jocelyn Castellanos, Yusbi Tavera, and sophomore Taylor Patino, who were named All River Valley League Player for the year 2018. Congratulations also to our boys water polo team, who won against La Fuente and are now moving on to CIF. We wish these Jacks good luck. The Agri-Science FFA students competed in the Paris Invitational Open ceremonies. We congratulate our amazing FFA students and their accomplishments. Senior Tanya Ruiz was recognized for Outstanding Secretary, Jackie Llamas for Outstanding Vice President, and to our advanced team, which placed 4th in the entire competition. The Jag Migos held the Noche Cultural this past Friday, November 2nd. Students from the Senor Lopez guitar class and band performed live. It was a very pleasant evening filled with Day of the Dead festivities, food, music, and Puerto Rico dance. For upcoming events this month of November, ASB is holding a blood drive on November 14th. The students from We Volunteer Club are looking forward to volunteer at the Jurupa Valley City annual holiday tree lighting event at City Hall November 30th. Further events, dates, and sports to be announced for next meeting. This concludes today's report for JHS. Thank you.
And again, thank you to all of our student board members.
Thank you. So item 2A, recognize Jurupa Middle School student, Mr. Jurupa.
All right, thank you. Vincent is here. Can you come up to the front while we say good things about you? This is a little bit of late recognition. This actually, Vincent was recognized in the spring, but we were just given the information, so we wanted our chance to congratulate Vincent as well. The California School Boards Association Legislative Awards Program honors members of the California Senate and Assembly, as well as members of the Congress, who work to promote and improve public schools and exercise leadership in the legislative arena. As part of the awards program, public school elementary or middle school students' artwork is selected and framed as part of the plaque awarded to the recipient. Students from all over the state submit entries, and we are very proud to announce that of all the 2018 student submissions, our very own Jurupa Middle School student Vincent Robertson's artwork was chosen for inclusion on the plaque presented to Senator Richard Roth in March of 2018. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Vincent.
What type of a, artwork did he do? Vincent, what did you do?
Vincent, why don't you come up and to the podium?
We had you come all this way. I'd like to know what type of an artwork you did. It was
a collage. Okay. It was I cut out pieces of magazines and I glued them onto a poster and looked at it.
Oh, very nice.
We'll
Congratulations.
get you a copy.
I just wondered what it was. We didn't have a copy of it. So.
Thank you, Vincent. All right, item 2B, recognize receipt of CSBA Golden Bell Award. Mr. DeBrowne.
Thank you, and I know we have at least one person here from the Pacific Avenue Academy of Music. Can you stand? The district was recently notified that we've been awarded a Golden Bell for the Pacific Avenue Academy of Music program. The California School Boards Association Golden Bell Awards program promotes excellence in education by recognizing outstanding programs throughout California that contribute to the development and evaluation of curriculum instruction and support services. The district will be honored at the annual CSBA conference in San Francisco on Thursday, November 29th, 2018. Congratulations, Pacific Avenue.
Congratulations, Thelma. Heard a lot of great things from some of the members that reviewed that program for CSB. So keep up the great work.
I can add now because it was trustee Mary Ibarra from Corona Norco Unified School District, who I think has since been sending all kinds of people to our district. But at the end, she said, "You guys get an A+." So we're very proud of Pacific Avenue. So thank you. This is
Yeah, it is true. I've gotten some, a region director from Delegate Assembly has asked to come out, and even Don Kindred, he's the board director down at the Symphony in Corona, so he wants to come out and see it as well, so try to get that on the schedule. Right. Okay, 2C, recognize service of outgoing member, trustee Memo Mendez. Would the board mind joining me down up front? Recognize Memo. All right. Well, it's my pleasure to honor Mr. Memo Mendez here for his service here to Jurupa Unified, not just for the past 8 years, but for the many decades that he has either taught here, been an administrator, and especially at the time on the board. When I got on the board 4 years ago, Mr. Mendez was, well, he's been a mentor of mine for the last 4 years, and I've appreciated him not only as a board member, but also as a personal friend, and also just in life. He sets such a good example, and so we want to recognize you, Memo, tonight with this plaque.
I usually always share the story that it has been a true blessing to work next to Mr. Memo Mendez, as he was my elementary school principal here in Jurupa Unified School District. So that has been a full circle for me to really get to serve on a board with such an experienced and humble man, and his family, just an honor for me. And we wish you the best of retired times, and don't get too famous. But yeah, many blessings to you and your family, Memo. You're in our heart. Thank you.
I have to say that I've known Memo for several years through his wife. I was her secretary, and I would see Memo a lot, but I knew him prior to that as an administrator in the district. When he decided to run for school board, I hosted one of his meet and greets. And I knew then that he was going to make a difference in this district. He'd already got his place made because he was well known. If you said the name Memo, everyone knew him right away. They didn't have to say his last name. He's been an inspiration to principals, to administrators, at all levels, not just only on the school board or elementary, high school, junior high, but just in the general public. He's well known. He's known at UCR very well. And I know that he's been an inspiration to me. He's given me a lot of guidance on things that I didn't understand, even though I thought I knew a lot about it when I came to the board, but he has really been an inspiration for all of us to learn more about educating students and how to treat our students and be part of the family. Thank you, Memo. I know you're going to enjoy your retirement. You and your wife are going to be traveling all over, and your children are going to bring you lots of joy. That's the time that you need to do that.
Actually, other than maybe Mrs. Mendez, I think I've known Mr. Mendez longer than anybody in this room. Our careers have zigzagged. Way back to years at the County Office of Education, Mr. Mendez, I think, went from there to Hemet and then ended up here. And I cannot tell you what stature this man has, not only in this county, but in the state with CAVE, as a professor at UCR, as a board member. Back in the days, it was categorical funding and categorical programs that he administered as an outstanding principal. I did not know you as a teacher, so I would imagine if you were anywhere near as good a teacher as an administrator, you were just par excellence. But just a gentleman, an outstanding member of the community. Unfortunately, Mrs. Mendez started this acting career, and Mr. Mendez got interested in it, but we knew them then, and we wish them the best. And I just have to tell you, what an honor and a privilege it's been to work beside you, for you, with you, and have our careers just kind of go like this over the years. You're just a mentor for us all, and I think to those of you who are the next generation coming up, we look forward to you being the next Mr. Mendez or Mrs. Mendez's.
I just would like to thank everyone for all the beautiful moments that everybody's given me throughout my life. So many blessings. My career, the board has been just a wonderful opportunity to be with wonderful people, to be with people that want to make a difference in the world, that want to have our students, our families, have the best education, the best in life. And to be part of that group, to be part of the staff of the district, classified, certificated, everyone that's involved in the district, working as a team has been an incredible opportunity. I wouldn't trade it out for the world. And yes, I started as a middle school teacher. And the minute I did my student teaching, that's all I was going to do for the rest of my life. But God had other plans, and God has done an incredible journey. So thank you to all of you for making it so special. Thank you. Forgot the most important person in my life without my partner.
Okay, thank you. Now on to board member comments. We'll start with you, Mrs. Char.
Well, I'd like to congratulate our two new principals on being chosen. I know that you're both going to enjoy your jobs. Elementary school is a wonderful school. I worked there for 21 years. Never thought I would like it, but you're going to love it at the schools. Also, that I would like to wish all of our candidates good luck tomorrow, and please, everybody, make sure you get out and vote. You know, the choice is yours, and if you don't vote, you really don't have a say in what happens. So you need to go get out and vote. Also, I would like to congratulate once again Vincent for his outstanding award. That's quite an honor for us, for a senator, to have your picture on his book. So I also would like to thank our student board members for bringing information to us. It gets us up to date on things, and especially we only have 1 or 2 meetings a month. Sometimes we don't get around to all of the high schools and hear what's going on. We get notes in our emails, but sometimes we don't know everything, so thank you. And then for the Pacific Avenue School of Music, congratulations too on your Golden Bell Award. This is something I think, I can't say for sure how many times, but I've been on the board now for 4 years, and I think every year we've had 1 or 2 nominees for the Golden Bell Award and have won. So you can see them over in our trophy case over there. Some of them are over there. So we are doing really well. And our presentations and our programs that we have are continually getting recognition all over the state. And then Mr. Mendez, I'm not saying anymore because I'll start crying if I do. Just that his passion is what has driven him to be on this board, and that's what we're going to miss the most. And I hope that his passion continues in the district, and we see him once in a while, keeping us on track. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Mendez.
Well, thank you again to everyone for all the kind words this evening. Like I said, it's been a very special opportunity to have been of service here in the district from the beginning. When I started back in 1988, I think it was. So I've enjoyed every single opportunity and interaction with the fabulous people that exist in this district and this community. Which leads me again to the people that were appointed to the new positions. You are joining a member of an elite group. Our administrative team here is among the best. And when I was with the Delegate Assembly, the California School Board Delegate Assembly, I would always brag about our district, about our staff, about our community, about our administrative staff, our teaching staff. We have a great district here, and it's been so humbling to be a part of that. So that's it. That's made it all worth it. I'd also like to congratulate again also the people that were recognized for their Mr. Vincent Robinson for his hard work that was accepted, and I think it's quite an honor. And then also for the Blue Ribbon School for our district. Again, it's a very prestigious award, and to have, as Linda mentioned, once again, one of our schools be recognized for that. It's a very exhaustive process to even be nominated, much less to ultimately be selected for the actual recognition. And I remember again how proud I've been over the years to be at the luncheon when the schools are recognized from our district. It's just such a special feeling. So keep up the great work out there. This is what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Mr. Ortega.
Yes, just to piggyback on the Golden Bell Award, I don't know why, but I sensed that we were going to win again. And it's such a prideful moment for our district, because it is every year, and it's continuous every year, that our programs are being recognized. And not only our programs, but I think the individuals who run these programs and who are very passionate for these programs and the students, so that they can succeed not only in music, not only in academics, but in life in general. So we thank you for your dedication to our students. And we will look forward to being there and cheering you on. We usually always stand up and cheer and say, yes, that's Jurupa. So we're excited for that. And when I was a student here, actually, I was in a program called Youth Opportunity Center, and as well, we won one of the first Golden Bell. So it's really a special recognition for our district. And speaking of recognitions, this month, later on in the month, we'll be in an event as well. Our superintendent, Elia Bichon, will be recognizing one of the most prestigious awards as well. So again, just what our district is doing, and all around just being recognized for the heart and dedication that we're doing, I think shows how dedicated our district and our leadership is. So those are exciting events to look after this month. And then California School Boards Association at the end of the month will be in San Francisco again. And at the end of the month, or this week actually, I was invited to be the keynote speaker for the Parent Institute Quality Education in Jurupa Valley for the parents there. And I just got a brief email of what these parents were really, I think, in training for. And we're talking about what is an A through G, how do you qualify for FAFSA. I mean, my mom would have no idea what this is, and I think the way our district is equipping our parents and our students to succeed after their years here in education. It's amazing to me. So I'll be honored to speak on behalf of our board there in the event. And RCC has also invited me to be their keynote speaker to speak to young women in search of jobs that are not as traditional as they would be to women. So I think we're taking a step forward in inspiring young women to do more for themselves and for their careers, and along the way for their communities. Because I know that once you see individuals give back to your community, you will also want to come back and do the same for Jurupa. So that's always exciting. And I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I think it's a season to give thanks, and I think this month we do it more than usual. So I thank you for taking your time tonight and joining our board meeting, and you and your family may have tons of blessings this month and for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega. Thank you for reminding me about parent involvement, how important it is, especially here in the district, and all the programs that are available. As Ms. Ortega mentioned, equipping our parents with knowledge that they need to help their children succeed. And I think you need to look very far to see that. Last week, there was an article published by the district, had to do with career readiness month, October. And a very quick highlight from the title was 50% of our students enrolled in college in 2018. But if you had a chance to look at that article, it's much more than that. It talks about all the CTE, STEAM, lots of great stuff, good content. So go check that out on the district website. And again, as Ms. Chard mentioned, tomorrow's election day. So if you want your voice heard, you got to get out and vote. So please do so. And thank you to the student board members for bringing us all the good news about all this, especially the sports. That's really exciting stuff. And Vincent, of course, again, congratulations. Very nice of you. If you get a chance to go up to Senator Roth's office, you can see that displayed there. And I think that's about all I have. And just wanted to say a final few words about Mr. Mendez. And I mentioned, his encouragement of me and mentoring me when I first got elected. And he really embodies that serving with unity of purpose and really serving for our students. It's about our students. That's why we're up here serving the community. The goal is to prepare our students for life. If you think about it, not just educating them, but our teachers are preparing them for life. And so we take that very seriously up here on the board. And I want to thank Mr. Mendez again for giving up 8 years of your life to serve on the board. I know it's a long time. Trust me, 4 years is a long time. So thank you again, Mr. Mendez, and we're going to miss you up here, and we look forward to all your success in the future. Okay, so moving on to public verbal comments. First one I have here is Mrs. Laura Roden.
Good evening,
Good evening.
board and administrators and students and audience. I come tonight not with my city council hat on, but with my Jurupa Unified School District Holiday Food Drive hat. So I'm here to get you excited about it and give you some dates, and you should have gotten a little timeline sheet. The setup night is December 14th. We're going to start the food drive collections as soon as Thanksgiving holiday week is over, so that first Monday back. Thanksgiving fell a little early this year, so instead of splitting it like we normally do, we usually start before that week. We're going to do everything afterwards. So it'll condense it a little, but I think it'll make for a good, strong event. So I do have a little video to show you, but I just want to encourage each of you and anyone here to participate in this food drive in some way, shape, or form, whether it's donating, volunteering, just coming by to witness this literal 24-hour miracle that happens. It's indescribable, and I'm realizing that. I think this is my 10th year being involved with this, so it's kind of a milestone year for me, I guess. But if you want to feel that holiday spirit, it is felt throughout this whole event, from the collections at the school sites to the literal angels and transportation that come by and pick everything up, and it magically all appears at Jurupa Middle School. And then on Friday night, about 300 volunteers bag it and sort it and display it, so that the next morning another approximately 200 ambassador volunteers come and walk through with the families and escort them all the way to their cars. So it's very festive. Santa's there, there's games, there's music and things on the distribution day. So we try to make it a lot of fun, a little bit of a party atmosphere, and I would just encourage you all to come and be a part of it and help spread the word. And I'll leave you with this, but wait, just before the video, sorry, I almost forgot to say, Mr. Mendez, congratulations on your retirement. I'm glad tonight happened to be the night that I was here to encourage the food drive. I remember, and I think it was probably the first time I had the blessing of working with you, I was a parent and I was serving on the Gate Advisory Committee, and we were working through I think it was the district certification and plan at that time, and trying for a 3-year certification, and it was all broken down, and I just remember your calm and kind demeanor through that, and I was very inexperienced at that time, so a lot of that was new information to me, but I never felt like you treated us that way. It was like we were just part of the team, and we all worked together, and I always appreciated that. So when you all were giving your kind words, the word that kept coming to me is kind. You have a very kind demeanor, and I think that draws people to you and allows you to work with them and build those relationships. So you will definitely be missed, but I wish you well for your retirement. And with that, I'll leave you with the video.
I just want to say something about the food drive. It is like a miracle. It happens generally very quietly with some meetings like this and Mrs. Roten going around. By the way, I think I know that Gate student. Right?
You probably.
I think so. But the food drive is just an incredible event, and I don't think when you walk through our schools you realize what the need of some of our children are. And the community just participates both in giving and receiving. It's true servant leadership. It's an opportunity for many of our students. Our teachers get involved, members of the community. It's just one of those very, very special events, so I want to thank you.
And you jogged my memory because I didn't mention the team that's behind me. I certainly don't do this by myself. I coordinate certain things, but we have Rebecca Gomez from Jurupa Middle School, Kevin Roten from Jurupa Middle, Shauna Cornejo from Peralta, and Miss Janice Cloward joined our team this year. And I think she's on special assignment, but I haven't spoken with her directly yet. And then there's immediate family of the Gomez family that participate hands-on, and it takes all kinds of partners. The Lions Club comes in on Friday evening and provides a huge baked potato dinner for 300 hungry volunteers. And it just goes on and on from there. So it's a true community partnership, and we have our families in our district donate, and then our families come and receive. So it's just it's a wonderful tradition that dates way back. I don't even know what year it started, but I mean, it goes way back from what I'm told. So it's something really special that the district does at holiday time.
I just want to make a comment. I've been in this district since I was a kid, and there was a food drive going on then, and it was nothing like what it is today. And luckily, we had Laura come in and take over when Mrs. Borrell retired. She had had it for many years. And it's amazing. I worked at the schools for 21 years at an elementary school in our district at Einar Buckle, which is one of our poorer areas. They're all on free and reduced lunch. And we had a contest one year with West Riverside, which is another one of the schools that is very needy. And we challenged them to bring in the most items, and our schools between us brought over 1,500 canned foods each. I mean, it was something that, and the amazing thing is, this is the poorest part that was bringing in the food, and whether they got it returns or not, or they, one of the names that was turned in, they were still contributing because they know how hard it is on families, and it is a very hard. It's too bad we can't do it more often for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of it, but once a year it's an outstanding thing. If you've never been to Jurupa Middle School in the middle of all of this, you need to go one time and see what it is. Congratulations, thank you for doing that for us.
It's a team effort.
Thank you, Ms. Rhoda. Thank you for inviting all the other groups. I think Becky mentioned the Lions Club to participate, and I think that teamwork, that spirit of teamwork has really helped to make that a larger and more successful event. And thank you again for your dedication to our students and community. Okay, next one I have here is Ms. Celia Game.
I was going to do a very bold brass presentation tonight, but thanks to Mr. Tolan and his quick action, it's not necessary. It was about my Nextel phone. I personally give out my personal cell phone number because those Nextel phones really don't work. But the issue with this one was people weren't contacting me. And I talked to Mr. Tolan, and Mr. Trevino came there shortly after. And we found that it wasn't nothing with the phone, it was that I didn't have the right number. I had the number I've had since I started there. And I sort of got the feeling that he was trying to put it on me. I can't say for sure. But if I didn't have the right number, neither did Glen, neither did Camino Real, and neither did Patriot. This is not the first time this has happened. We are required to call in to MOT if we're going to have a sick day. And I was very sick and made the attempt several times to call, which I could not connect or I would get the answering machine. And I thought because it was me, it wasn't good enough, so I called personnel. And they in turn told me that the number to MOT had been changed. That showed you the lack of communication. How are we to be there for people or help people if they can't contact us? The sub-custodian at Glen Avon needed my assistance, and he attempted to call me over and over again. And finally he came and just started pounding on my door. And it was a good thing I looked before I took action. But that needs to be rectified. Mr. Trevino should have come and seen me because he was told I was going to do that presentation. He knew about this situation since the summer of 2017. And he told me he would fix it, And up until the other day, I didn't realize they hadn't been fixed till I was told someone was trying to contact me. Now, there has to be better communication. All they need to do is send out a letter. You know, I should have known months ago that the number at MOT had changed, but I needed to call personnel, and they were gratefully appreciated that they helped and assisted me in getting the right number. But I don't think it's necessary to bother them. They have their hands full enough doing their job to be worried about the fact that the correct number isn't given out. So I asked, again, to make sure that there's communication amongst us, because I don't want to be told that either I'm lying or that I did not attempt to contact my supervisor or I went above his head. I did this time because I had already contacted him several times, and I am so grateful that Mr. Tolan rectified this situation all in a nutshell. So again, I would like to thank him and Trent for their fast action. When I have gone to them with any kind of problem, they are just only too ready to assist and to make sure that it is beneficial for everybody.
Thank you, Celia. So the problem's been taken care of. Mr. Tolan? Yeah, okay. Thank you. All right, next I've got Patricia and Sylvia Sanchez.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Patricia Sanchez. I am a senior in Jurupa Valley High School. I just wanted to bring attention to a problem that we're having at Jurupa Valley High School. Previously, in my junior year at Jurupa Valley, I took honors honors calculus, and we as juniors were having problems in the class, along with the seniors who had the same teacher for AP Calculus AB and BC. Her name is Ms. Weston. Last year, sometimes we would try to get help, but she simply could not explain some of the subjects. We would be coming back into class with questions on the homework, and she would simply put them aside, and she wouldn't address them, and she wasn't able to answer our questions. The seniors from last year who had taken Calculus AP went to administration in our school, and they spoke about it, but no changes were made. This year, we're having the same problems as seniors who are now taking Calculus AP, and in a previous test, many of us had failed, and this is dropping our grades in the class. Currently, I have an F in the class because of the low grades that I've gotten on the tests, and this is affecting all of us as seniors greatly because right now it's college application time, and although we might get accepted to universities, seeing these grades drop drastically within all of us is going to make a big change in how they see our application, and we might have it taken away. Something that's going on is that we are given few opportunities to go to tutorial sessions because the teacher is either not there, and she is the only calculus teacher who is able to help us. We don't have anyone else who's able to support us or to give us guidance in this class, and we believe that as students we deserve more help, especially as the AP students who are taking one of the hardest courses offered at our school.
Yo como madre de familia estoy apoyando a mi hija porque tengo una hija en el 9º grado y no quiero que repita.
Mom indicated that she has the reason I'm supporting my daughter is because I have another daughter that's in the 9th grade and I do not want her to go through the same thing.
Okay, thank you all. And maybe Mr. Dabrowski, Patricia, maybe you can get in contact with Mr. Dabrowski or maybe give him your number. He's right here in the red tie. And he can probably kind of help you work through that situation.
I'll take her.
Thank you, and we'll find out what's going on.
Thank you, Patricia, for coming up and bringing that to our attention. Okay, the last card I have here is Brent Hale.
Hi, I'm Brent Hale. I have 3 students in the district, 2 in elementary school at Camino Real, and 1 in middle school at Jurupa Middle School. I'm sorry I'm not more presentable. I kind of rushed here from work, but I've been meaning to get to one of the board meetings to discuss this. I wanted to talk specifically about the lack of child therapists at the elementary school level. So basically, what started this for us, unfortunately, was my wife being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It's been especially hard on my kids. And I had reached out to the school because when I was in elementary school in a different district, unfortunately I was subject to bullying. So I had actually had a therapist that I had gone and seen on a regular basis at the elementary school, and it was nice because it didn't affect my grades. They were able to pull me out of class for a very short period of time, discuss issues and work through them at the classroom level, at the school level. So I reached out to the school to try to see if there was some therapy available for my kids that kind of help deal with this. It's difficult for them when they're going to school and having to be away from their mom who's going through this. So I thought it was best if they could try to get this at the school level, as well as we're also going through the cancer hospital that my wife goes through. But I was surprised when I was told that at the elementary school level they don't have any school therapists, that specifically they are called out from the district on crisis issues only. My daughter had lost a class member from the flu actually last year at Camino, and they had a therapist that came out and fought them, and they were there for a couple of days and they left. I really feel strongly that this is something that the board needs to look at and give these therapists at the elementary school level. And it's not just because of what my kids are going through. The reality is that there's bullying in the schools. We all heard of the multiple suicides that took place in the Rancho Cucamonga school district. I believe one of those was even at the elementary school level. I mean, to have an elementary school student even consider and take action on killing themselves, it just shows that there's problems out there, and students need access to therapists. The schools where they may be comfortable going, and it's also I don't know if you're aware, but the mental health system in this state is unfortunately just quite frankly over impacted. When I was trying to call and get appointments for my kids to seek therapy for what was going on, I was being told for patients it's a 3-month wait time just to get in, or you can keep calling every day and hope that there's a cancellation of something. So that was the main thing that I wanted to speak about, and I would really hope that you would consider putting on a future agenda to provide therapists at the elementary school level. They do have them some access at the middle school level, and I've been working with the school on that, and I've also, I believe that you have access at the high school level. One other issue I wanted to quickly speak about is I'd like the school board to get involved in this. I filed complaints with the city of Jurupa Valley in the past, but directly to the north of Camino Real Elementary School, it's basically an abandoned property. The house is half burned down. There are trailers all over the place. There are people wandering in and out of that house. I know the house is red tagged. That's what I do for a living. So the house has been red tagged, and there's people coming in and out of that property. And there's literally, the school is 20 feet away from this property, and I see people, it's unfortunately, just from what I do and from what I've seen, when I see all these trailers start pulling up on property, it concerns me that suddenly there's all these people, we don't know who they are, we don't know if they even have any association with that property other than just pulling it from their property and moving their stuff in there. So I don't know if that's something the school board can kind of reach out to the city on, because it's definitely a concern that that's so close to an elementary school. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, a couple of things. We will make sure the city is aware of that. We do have mental health support at all of our schools. When you use the term therapist, I just want you to know we have to be very cautious about providing actual therapy to students, but we're happy to work with you. Again, we have your name, and we can work with the principal in terms of what services might be available.
Okay. School, yeah.
Do they know you at the school?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work with the principal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Okay, I've got no more cards. Anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Okay, so we'll move on. Item number 5, administrative reports and written communications. 5A, report of the results of local performance indicators for priority 1, appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum, aligned instructional materials, and safe, clean, and functional school facilities. Priority 2, implementation of state academic standards for California Accountability Dashboard. Priority 3, parent engagement. Priority 6, school climate. And priority 7, access to a broad course of study. Mr. Dabrowski.
Thank you, President Garcia. It sounds almost like a business services annotation, doesn't it? So, as the board is aware, several years ago, and for many years, the state had an accountability system called the Academic Performance Index. And it consisted of the results of the CST test that our students took in grades 2 through 11. And so all schools in the district received a number, and it was a very singular way of identifying success in schools. And so more recently, the state set about to create a more complex accountability system that really showed all of the factors that could indicate success or lack of success at both the school and the district. And so the new system has a series of performance indicators, and there are state indicators and local indicators, and there are 11 total. As you can see up there, there are 6 state indicators, and those are indicators that the state gathers the data and populates the indicator and provides that data for all schools and districts in the state. That's high school graduation rate, academic performance, suspension rate, English learner progress, preparation for college and career, which is called the College and Career Index, and chronic absenteeism. So all those things are published by the state at regular intervals, and they collect that information. The next 5 are called the local indicators. And those are basic conditions at the school, implementation of state academic standards, parent engagement, local climate, access to a broad course of study. And then the last 2 are county office only. They're not for local education agencies. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those indicators because we provide that information to the state. So we kind of just want to let you know that that information is being provided to the state and where some of that information comes from. So the first one, basic conditions. There are 3 components to that. One is having appropriately assigned teachers who have the credential for which they're teaching, access to curriculum-aligned instructional materials, and safe, clean, and functional school facilities. And those are all monitored by the Riverside County as the monitoring agency. Think of the Williams complaints, the Williams textbook inspections and certification, the facilities inspections. All of those things there's a monitoring process, and we talk about those throughout the year as those results come back. So that is basic conditions. The second is implementation of state academic standards, and we talk about that when we talk about our units of study, when we adopt standards-aligned textbooks, when we talk about the digital gateway and the technology, the digital access to support the curriculum, the professional development. All of those things are part of our implementation of the state's academic standards. The third is parent engagement, and we talk a ton about that, just talking about that a few minutes ago. And as you know, we've established our parent involvement community outreach department with which the 7 people known as Jose Campos, and all the different engaging opportunities for parents and the opportunities for them to become involved and to educate themselves and things like the PK and the programs for parents. Priority number 6 is school climate. And that is, in addition to some of the more database things you might think of, like suspension data, things like that, it's when we ask students and staff how things are going, how they feel at school. For example, the California Healthy Kids Survey is administered. We're just in the process of administering that now, so we don't have current results, but we'll get them soon. There are also some school climate surveys that we administer locally that we develop that look at how students feel about their schools, about their teachers, about their classes, about their homework, about their abilities, about how they are treated at school, about how they interact with their peers, and provide us a lot of information about the different things going on campuses. And then the last, priority 7, is access to a broad course of study. And as we think about our secondary schools and all of the improvements that we've made over the last several years, whether it's career technical education options, dual enrollment opportunities for students to take college courses, AP capstone, the Reaches program where students can take early college options at Rubidoux High School, all the different things that are available now to our students that we've tried to improve upon in the last several years. That really talks about access to a broad course of study. So those are the 5 local indicators. Our report, which was part of your supporting documents, will be uploaded to the state in the next several days, and then that will be made available to the public by the state on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Brusky. Mrs. Chard.
Mr. Brusky, I have a question on the summary report that's attached. We state in there that it's on the second page where during the 2018-19 school year, we'll establish a baseline for the number of visitors who benefit from the services offered through the Parent Center. How are we going to do that? Do we have a plan as to how we'll survey them, or to see how much information they're getting so that we can advance to?
Yeah, we have like some quantitative data will be just the amount of traffic in and out of the Parent Center. So we log all the data of who's there. We log the data about the 2 training rooms and what trainings we offer and how those rooms are utilized. And then as we survey parents, and particularly in the spring as they offer input into our LCAP, then there'll be opportunities for them to talk about that process and offer like qualitative data about how they feel about the services that are there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Borowski. 5B, Williams Settlement Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary. Mr. Borowski.
We had no complaints.
Okay. Thank you. And on to 5C, Open Enrollment Notification. Ms. Moore.
Thank you. This is just to notify that staff is currently scheduling notifications to our parents for our open enrollment dates of December 3rd, 2018 through January 15th, 2019. Open enrollment is the time when parents may apply for an interdistrict transfer. That's a transfer between schools within the district. Applications will be processed at the Parent Center, and you have a copy of the parent information brochure in your backup materials.
Thank you, Mrs. Ford. 5B, CSBA Delegate Assembly. Mr. DeShawn.
Well, apparently there's another election coming up, but it's not for a while. There are a number of people running to serve Subregion 18A, Riverside, and the delegate terms expiring in 2019 are Alfredo Andrade, Kenneth Dixon, Robert Garcia, Madonna Gerald, and Christy Ruiz Robbins. Nominations must be postmarked by January 7th, so the board has some time to think about it. We normally put these on the agenda a couple months ahead of time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeShawn. And 5E, other administrative reports and written communications.
There are none.
Okay, thank you. On to the action session. Item A, approve and adopt routine action items by consent.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mendez, second by Mrs. Charter. Any questions or comments? Okay, make sure that we refresh our screens here, and we'll call for the vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. Item B, accept 2017-2018 audit report. Mrs. Ford.
This evening, administration brings the district's audit report to the board for acceptance. Mr. Peter Glenn of Nigro & Nigro is here this evening. He's from our external audit firm, and he will present a summary of the 2017-2018 audit. Mr. Flynn?
I have some hard copies here.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Glenn.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, cabinet, and guests. Purpose of me being here this evening is to present the 17-18 audit report, so I'll be brief and try to give you an executive summary. First off, the purpose of our report is to render an opinion upon the financial statements of the district. And so we publish that in the report on our very opening page, and we do it in a several paragraph form, but in a nutshell, basically it explains how we are following the governmental standards that we're required to follow, the state guidelines that we're required to follow under the state audit guide, and also the federal uniform guidance. And in the cases of those standards, we found that we rendered an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. And that might not sound like much, but basically what it's saying is we, in essence, agree with the financial position as it is presented by the district in the report. Now, the report goes into a lot of different details. There's several different styles of presentation that are in the report. And without digging into the weeds too much, basically what I wanted to bring out is that there's a kind of a scaled down portion of the report that's easier for viewing, and it's more of a comparative nature, and that's known as the management discussion and analysis. And that's in the early portion in the report. It's shown in some tables. You probably reviewed all these things and you're used to these things, so I'll kind of go through that. And then there's also two sets of statements. One statement has a shorter term focus and one statement has a longer term focus. And so the longer term focus are known as the government-wide statements, and that's where you see things like capital assets, long-term debt, you see pensions, you see OPEB costs, things like that. Those are the longer term. And then in the fund financials is where you're going to see more of your year-to-year, shorter-term snapshot focus. And in both cases, the district had revenues in excess of expenses and expenditures. So they contributed in a positive way to that either net position or to that ending fund balance in the general fund. And that, if I may have you flip to page 72, I was just going to bring out the trend schedule, because that's really kind of where you can see how the district is doing over the last 3 years and looking forward in the budget of 2019. And there you can see on page 72, the change in fund balance had a positive number there, 426,964. The prior 2 years, there was some deficit spending, but looking forward, there's a projection of a positive ending fund balance, and again, that's in the general fund. So that's looking forward to the coming year in 19. The other additional points of the audit that are usually of a lot of interest to board members, I'll jump through to those, and those are in usually the back end of the report, and that has to do with any kind of findings or recommendations. There were no findings when it came to any of the governmental auditing standards and controls that we look at when we do our audit. There was a slight state finding that we had in reference to the unduplicated pupil count. There was just one minor exception, which is an improvement on the prior year, actually. And then in the federal program that we tested, which was Title I, there were no findings in that area, in that federal program. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on the management comment letter, and that's at the very back of the report, and that's an area where we try to make recommendations. They're not findings, but there are areas that we think the district might want to give some more attention to. So those are typically what you see there are ASB items or maybe some new programs that they haven't quite come up with the best way how to manage things. One of the things that we're seeing a trend in is more online type collections of payments and more changing ways of collecting revenues and kind of getting a good handle on how to control those incoming revenues. So that's basically the report in a real brief nutshell. If there are any comments or questions, I'd be happy to.
Any comments? Mr. Mendes?
I have a comment. I really look forward to these reports because one of the biggest obligations that we as a board have is obviously this area management in the district, to ensure that the funds are appropriately allocated and that all the legal applications are applied within the district, and the staff is really fabulous at this. But I think that as a board member, it really is important that we really take a look at these reports, because that's part of the responsibility to get the full picture of what actually goes into the checks and balances of ensuring that we in fact are effectively managing the monies of the district. And I know that when I have been asked to be interviewed by the outside accountants, in terms of my knowledge of whether I've received these reports and how often and what do they contain, as a board member, it's good to know that I better be prepared for that, and it feels better that you can answer those questions, say, yes, I'm aware of the reports, I know what's in them, yes, we do get them regularly, yes, we have opportunities as a board to respond to them. And so I really appreciate the whole cycle that goes into that process in the district, and the role that everybody plays in making and ensuring that such a critical responsibility that we have as a board is done properly. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank those at the district that were cooperative in our audit process and through the interviews and the various departments, business services, and all the other departments that we interact with during our audit.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Any other questions, comments? Ms. Char?
I think Mr. Mendes summed it up well. It was exactly what I was going to say. It was easier for me to understand more, with the findings at the end, and you summing it up made it a lot easier for me to understand and to answer to some of those people who have said, are you spending the money right and all that? It's right here. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to do. Our records are there. The administrators are handling the funds properly, and I enjoy your reports just like him. It's a lot to read and a lot to take in, and sometimes I don't quite understand all of it, but in the end, when you do the findings, that's what helps me to understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the audit report.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Char, second by Ms. Ortega. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. Item C, award bid number 18-19-04 PD, Parent Centered Child Care Remodel Project. Dr. Hanson.
Yes, on September 21st and 28th, district staff solicited bids for the Parent Center Remodel Project. The scope of this work will include 2 single-use restrooms and a smaller training area on the south room of the training center to help support different types of trainings. Right now it's just one large room. On October 11th, district staff received and opened a total of 10 bids for the project. And the lowest bid is listed there, Otero Construction Incorporated, for $164,900. This project is funded through a special reserve for capital outlay funds. This obviously is not a Measure E project. Administration recommends this evening the board award a contract to Otero Construction Inc. in the amount of $164,900.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mendez, second by Ms. Ortega. Thank you, Dr. Hanson. Any questions or comments? All right, let's call for the vote, please. Motion passes 4-0. Item D, approve amendment to the state preschool program and adopt resolution number 2019/19, child development contract. Mr. Dorosky.
Thank you. This is for our state preschool programs at Mission Bell, Rustic Lane, Sunny Slope, and Van Buren Elementary Schools. And we're bringing it back to you because the state has increased the rate from $45.73 to $48.28. And that brings our total allocation from $852,000 to $895,000. So we recommend that you approve the revised program with more money.
Thank you.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ortega,
Second.
second by Mr. Chard. Any questions or comments?
Did they provide a reason for the reason for the change? Or just?
Yeah, they just, I don't recall hearing a reason other than they've just been able to allocate an additional amount per student.
I mean, it's a good thing. It's
It's a good thing.
We'll always
Not
take,
super common, yeah.
we'll always take the money.
You know, Jasmine, you can comment on these things too if you like.
No, I'm good. I
Okay.
I do have one question, but it's like in general. When you guys approve for stuff, do you always have to approve, or can you like decline to not?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, sorry. When you guys, because I know that you do meetings and I know that you approve for this to go through to pass, does it always pass, or do you guys sometimes like not approve?
Well, usually it all depends, and we work together. The board works together as a team with staff too, and so the board provides that direction. So, but most of the times, these things are passed, but we've already kind of gone through the planning, and so yeah, it's a good question though.
Okay.
Sometimes the vote is not always unanimous.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
But most of the time, most of the things coming through, they're pretty basic stuff, I guess you'd say, and people don't realize that that's part of the business of a school district. I mean, it's all things that we have to do, and we don't have to agree with them, but we've been given enough information and opportunity to ask questions prior to, so that we have a little more idea. We're not just going, oh yeah, okay, we'll vote on it.
Thank you.
And also just to add, we need 3 individuals up here to say yes if it passes. So if I don't agree or if I say no, or I abstain, which means I don't say yes or no, 3 individuals here need to vote yes for it to pass. So.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Jasmine. Yeah, we're sorry we didn't realize you were still there. There's a preferential vote, so when we do the next vote, you'll also be asked. I don't know if it's electronic or.
No, it would have to be.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to vote
Yes.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, call for the vote, please. So Jasmine, we'd like to ask your vote on this.
Do I have to move? Do I say I move? Or
No, we've already made the motion. Just vote yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, sometimes these meetings go on a little long and students got things to do, and so it's nice to have you here still part of the process.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Motion passes 4-0. Okay, item D, approve amendment to state, is that the one we just did? I'm sorry, Dave. Item E, adopt resolution number 2019/20, resolution of the Board of Education of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $48,360,000 aggregate principal amount of Jurupa Unified School District general obligation bonds, 2014 election, 2019 Series C, and ordering certain actions in connection therewith. Mrs. Ford.
At the direction of staff, the district's financing team have prepared documentation for the purpose of permitting the district to issue its general obligation bonds, 2014 election, 2019 Series C. The bonds will represent the third series of the bonds issued under Measure EE. The proceeds of the bonds will be used for purposes including the financing or reimbursement for construction, equipping, furnishing, and improving capital facilities as permitted in the official project list that was approved at the election, and to pay for cost of issuance of the bonds. The resolution also approves the form of 2 additional documents: a contract of purchase between the district and the underwriter, a preliminary official statement with attached continuing disclosure agreement. The district is required to disclose good faith estimates of the true interest cost, which is estimated to be 3.77%. Also charges in connection with the sale of the bonds, which are estimated to be $618,000. Amount of proceeds estimated to be $47.8 million, and a total of all bond payments at maturity are estimated to be $89.6 million. Administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2019/20, resolution of the Board of Education of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $48,360,000 aggregate principal amount of Jurupa Unified School District general obligation bonds, 2014 election, 2019 Series C, and ordering certain actions in connection therewith.
Thank you, Mrs. Ford.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Chard,
Second.
second by Ms. Ortega. Any questions or comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote, please. Jasmine?
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Item F, adopt resolution number 2019/21, establishing a supplemental classified employee retirement plan, a SERP, for classified employees. Mrs. Ford.
Administration is recommending the board adopt a resolution to establish a supplemental classified employee retirement plan for eligible classified employees. JUSD would administer the plan, including communicating with and enrolling employees. And the plan provides employees with an annual payment in the amount of the employee's 2018-2019 longevity stipend for a period of 5 years. Employees must notify the district no later than January 18th, 2019. The savings and cost of the program will be determined based on the actual number of enrolled employees, and a final analysis will be presented to the board after the close of the enrollment window. Administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2019/21, establishing a supplemental classified employee retirement plan for certain eligible classified employees of the district effective June 30th, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Chard, second by Mr. Mendez. Any questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm just glad to see that we're able to offer this opportunity to our employees. I was glad to get a good use. Thank you.
It's been a little while since we've been able to.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote, please. Yeah.
I vote
Yes?
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Item G, adopt resolution number 2019/22, resolution of the Board of Education of Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the district to enter into an agreement with Public Agency Retirement Services, PARS, to design and administer a supplementary retirement plan for eligible certificated non-management and certificated management employees, providing there is a sufficient employee participation. Mrs. Ford.
Thank you. Administration has worked with Public Agency Retirement Services, PARS, to design a supplementary early retirement plan for certificated employees. Ms. Rachel Sanders is here from PARS, and she will present a brief presentation about PARS and the supplemental retirement plan.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Sanders.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, board members, Mr. Superintendent, and staff. Glad to be here this evening. As Paula mentioned, my name is Rachel Sanders, and I am a manager of plan consulting with PARS, Public Agency Retirement Services. I do just want to provide you with a brief overview of both who PARS is as a company, as well as what this early retirement incentive would entail. So it looks like we have the PowerPoint, and you'll have hard copies of the presentation as well. So on the first page, there. Oh, the clicker would probably help. Yeah. So just to give you a little bit of background on who PARS is. PARS stands for Public Agency Retirement Services, and we are a private company located in Orange County, right by John Wayne Airport. We work exclusively with public agencies, so school districts, cities, counties, special districts. And we actually got our start in 1984 doing early retirement incentives. Newport Mesa Unified School District in Orange County was the very first district to do it, and we are the leading provider of offering these early retirement incentives across the state. We've worked with large districts such as LA Unified School District, San Diego Unified School District, and more locally, Ontario Montclair, Corona Norco, and Pomona are some that we've worked with in your area. So we have a lot of expertise when it comes to offering these programs. Now, the way that this would work is that certificated employees, both non-management and management, would be offered 60% of their final pay. So tonight's purpose is really to open up the opportunity for folks to take a look at the program, see if it makes sense, and as Paula mentioned, we would bring this back to board at the end of a window to see if ultimately it meets the district's fiscal and operational objectives. Yes? Oh, of course. Wow. Yes. There we go. All right. Let's try that again. So again, the contribution level is set at 60% of final pay, and the way that this would be funded is over a 5-year period of time through the purchase of a 403B annuity with Pacific Life Insurance Company. So ultimately, the largest dollar amount in the shortest period of time would be a 5-year payout option for a teacher or a certificated management employee, and certainly the employees would have a number of options that really are tailored to meet their needs. All options are equal to the district in terms of what it would cost you, so it does allow the employee flexibility to make a decision that makes the most sense for him or her. In terms of the option choices available, we've listed those on the next page in your packet, and they actually have 14 different option choices. There are 3 variations of a lifetime option, and then we have what are called fixed payment options. So the lifetime options are all slightly different. One is for the employee only, one is a joint survivor option, another has a built-in guaranteed years of payments. But the fixed payment options do tend to be the most popular simply because a person enrolling in the plan may see a higher dollar amount, and these basically pay out for a fixed year period of time. For example, if a person chooses an option 5, that is an option that will pay out monthly for a 5-year period of time. They will receive in total 60 payments, and then the benefit would end. Similarly, option 10, they would receive 120 payments, and then the benefit would end. So again, they have full flexibility and some tax advantages if they do choose certain options. And then what we wanted to provide to you is a sample timeline. So as I mentioned, tonight would be an authorization to open up the enrollment period. And again, the district does not have to make a decision as to whether or not to move forward with the plan unless it ultimately meets your objectives. We would never recommend that a district move forward with something that doesn't ultimately save you money. So after tonight's board meeting, if the district did choose to open up the plan, the PAR staff would come out and do orientations where we educate all of your employees, make sure that they're well informed. Everyone receives an individualized packet that comes from PARS as well. We would then come back out a little further down the road once folks have had an opportunity to digest the information, do one-on-one counseling sessions, and then toward the very end of the window, we'll come back out again, help them fill out their paperwork, answer any final questions, ensure that everyone feels good about the plan and again, is comfortable with the process. After the window closes, we'll have the list of everyone that enrolled, and PARS will run a final analysis to ensure that those objectives were met. We will communicate with staff how the numbers pencil out and bring the findings back to board for your final approval. If the plan does move forward, the benefit checks would commence at the end of the school year, August 1st of 2019. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I have a question here, I think it's just a typo.
Yes.
It says November 5th is tonight, early November, individual benefit illustration packets, late November, PARS school orientation, mid-December 2019, is that supposed to be 18? PARS whole
Yes,
individual
it is.
counseling? Okay.
Yes, thank you. I apologize for that.
And then we started in January.
Yes, it
possibly
is
enrolling.
December
Okay.
2018. I apologize for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Ms. Sanders.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second?
second by Mr. Ortega. Any other questions or comments about this?
Yes, Mr. President. Just a brief comment to say that the staff had done a really fine job in providing the board with information prior to the presentation this evening. So it really is good to just have the information on which to make the decision this evening if the board so decides to this evening. So thank you to both of you for the information.
I'll second that too. Thank you. Okay. Let's call for the vote, please. Yeah. Yes. Motion passes 4-0. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, President Garcia, just a couple comments. This is something that's beneficial both to staff and the district. When people are ready to retire, it gives them a little bit of extra money to enhance their retirements over whatever they may choose. The other thing is that Mrs. Ford didn't mention it, but she and her staff did some shopping on this. They just didn't go out and pick the first or best offer, and by far this was the best one and saved us 0.5% in terms of our costs, which are substantial. So I want to thank Mrs. Ford and her staff, and thank you, Ms. Sanders.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item H, board member committee reports and final comments. Ms. Ortega, start with you tonight.
Just a brief comment, again, thanking our student board members. I think you're being exposed to local government at a very young age, and I'm very, very proud of you. There's not enough words I can say to share my pride moment that you're involved and continue being involved in whatever way that we can help you. That's what we're here for, to support. My pleasure. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. We're going to let you go last, Mr. Mendez. So, Mrs. Chard, you're up next.
Okay, as far as committees, I did attend the District Advisory Council, which met on Thursday, and it was our first meeting. We had quite a few parents there. They are representatives from the sites. I think we are only short about 5 or 6, but there were a lot of new faces, and everyone introduced themselves and told a little bit about themselves. We had a lot of parents who had grown up in the district, who are now on the committees. Their children are going to school here, which was really good. And all of them seem to be very enthusiastic about how they can go back and help and how they have an opportunity to have a say in what we do in our district and report back to their sites certain things that are presented during the meeting. And that goes on during the year. Terry presented some things on the LCAP. And we had some other presentations that they had an opportunity to learn about and then take back. And they were very inquisitive. They had a lot of questions, which is good we have that. Oops. Just lost my notes. I also had an opportunity to attend the Riverside County Education Summit in Palm Springs. And when I went there, there was a speaker, Ron Clark, who was the most enthusiastic person I've ever seen. He was jumping up and down on the stage and from one side to the other, talking about his experiences as a teacher, and becoming a teacher, and not becoming a teacher, and wanting to be a teacher, and how he should become a teacher, and what type of teaching he should do. It was very, very interesting. He was very good. I also went to one of the presentations, which was about our district. And I was very impressed at how our district has put together a program to present that that tells how our district operates. And they did it in like about half an hour, and it was an outstanding program. It needs to be recognized with honors, because I think that it was the way it was put together. Each person each department had a part of the program that they would present, and 2 or 3 people in that would present it. I hope that they could have an opportunity sometime to maybe present it here, because I think other people really need to know how our district operates. Pardon? And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chard. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. I had an opportunity to attend the Technology Committee meeting last week and heard a lot of great stuff. Thanks to Mr. Matt Hahn for putting on that presentation. Just a couple of things I wanted to let the board know about. Matt's team, they manage like 40 data systems within the district, whether it could be federal, state, local reporting. And a lot of these things have their own separate login. So one of the things I learned there was a project he's been working on for several years for single sign-on. Single sign-on could probably save, I think it was 2,000 instructional minutes per week. And I mean, that's huge when you think about the amount of time that's with technology, when teachers have to help the kids do this and that, or enter trouble calls, or whatever it may be. So that's a very impressive. I mean, you think about 40 data systems, we've got to kind of put them all together. And he also went through the different parts of his department, whether basic data support to custom programming to data systems architecture. It's very informative, and I think we'd probably send the board that presentation, I think, that PowerPoint that he provided. And but I was very impressed with that, and glad to see that we're doing a great job with technology, especially with all the Chromebooks students have. That helps a lot. And I think that's all I had for tonight, really. And don't forget to go out and vote tomorrow, if you haven't done so already. Any final comments, Mr. Duchamp?
Yes, thank you, President Garcia. First of all, thank you, Mrs. Chard, for mentioning the Models of Excellence presentation. I have seen many district presentations by many districts, including ours. I thought I walked into a corporate boardroom, really. It was well rehearsed, well presented. They talked about our digital gateway program. And I don't know that a lot of people know how much detail went into that, which they presented very succinctly. So again, I want to thank Mr. Lewis also, and just the fantastic team that you had presenting there. Everybody did a part of it, and it was great. To our student board member, thank you for staying. And I was noticing how you were paying attention to the auditor, and I was thinking, I don't know if we've ever had an auditor at any of our career fairs, and it's a great profession. I don't know if you're interested in that. But if you ever have any questions about the board agenda, either before or after, your question was excellent. And a lot of times board members do call and say, what in the world is this on the agenda? I don't know if you noticed on the consent item, a lot of the board policies are second reading, which means the board has already looked at it one time and had an opportunity to comment on it. So please feel free, it's a great question. We don't always get 5-0 votes or 4-2 or 4-1, and when they don't pass, we go back and regroup. And so, but thank you for coming. I hope this is just a great opportunity for our student board members are just so outstanding. You may not know this, but one of our former student board members is now a board member in Riverside Unified. So there's also an opportunity there someday.
Oh, I was just curious because in our school we have the same thing, and I mean, like this kind of just interests me. But in our school, like it's a motion, and then it's a move, and then a second, and then it's all those in favor. But no one ever like says no. But I see them later complaining about it, and I'm just like, oh, like why didn't you ever say anything? So that's why I was just curious, like there's anything that you guys ever decline or something, you know?
Thank you, Jasmine.
We have something on the others because they didn't stay, so they haven't got the advantage of this.
Yeah, like my teacher told me like you're just favoring the other side when you don't vote or when you don't like say anything else.
So you don't have to vote yes every time too.
Oh yeah, I just thought these were like good things that they were trying to do, obviously.
Thank you, Jasmine. Mr. Mendez, final comments.
Well, also going to mention that it was nice to see one of our former board members, student board members, go on to become a board member at another institution of higher learning. And it's always, as an educator anywhere in my years along my life, anytime that I came across a student that later on I heard about succeeding in any regard, it's always satisfying. And so we hope to hear from all of you that have been here serving on the board, and definitely respect and value the time that you come to share the information regarding your schools. We know that in addition to being at board meetings to share that information, that you guys are always very much involved in your own schools as well too, in a variety of other extracurricular activities. And so it's just amazing what you accomplish in your school career here in the district. And so we look forward to hearing all your accomplishments in the future of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you all for coming. Again, meeting's adjourned.